All right. Good morning, everybody. Pardon me. Oh my God, my throat. Pardon me. Welcome to Coffee and Crafts with John. It's Friday. We made it through. I'm a mess over here. We made it through a whole week. I can't believe it. It's been a holiday week, and we did the show even on the holiday. My wife's like, "What are you doing down there? You know, like we have food to make over here. And you're down there working with your crappy friends." But I don't care. I love doing this show, and it's what makes it fun for me, right? Is to kind of have a reason for like a little side hustle and have some fun with you all. Anyway, let's get after it here. I want to recap where we are. I'm actually not feeling like I'm in a good place right now, to be honest with you. I'm feeling like we're in kind of a bummer of a place to be with the paycheck coming up. And I want to really spend some time this morning talking with you about it. And again, use your chat here to get me in or get in with me here, because I would like to chat it out and come up to some resolution of what we're going to do here. So let's go here and give you kind of the rundown for the day. We're going to talk about the storm and where we are with the storm. I'm going to talk about the idea of grinding, which is what the storm has turned into for me, versus playing for a home run, which is how most of us probably wish we could play. We will recap the phasing play, and I'm going to talk Iron Cross today a little bit. So it looks like Arcades has sent me a message on Discord, but I can't read Discord unless I pull my phone out and in the middle of the show start checking messages, which I will do because it's fun. Anyway, here we go. Let's talk about the storm. We haven't started it for real yet, but here's where we are, and here's where I think we need to be. I think that $50 don't pass with all those odds is proving to be problematic. It really is. What's happening is the odds are tough because I've been picking the points off, and at the same time, the across bets are not good because I've been throwing early sevens. We're in this really weird spot where the sevens are coming too fast for me to trust my across bets. But when I am getting the across bets to hit, I'm picking my point. And I think that's part of the magic. I'm sorry, I'm getting my tea put together here. That's part of the magic of the chopper, right? And I say this tongue in cheek because I'm learning a new way of throwing that toss. So I'm not getting the real benefit of it. But as you know, from watching me throw so often with the old version of the toss, it's a repeater heavy throw. Like I get nothing but repeaters, right? When I'm throwing that thing and I'm throwing it well, I'm all over the number that I'm hitting. I get into a really interesting groove with it. It's a repeater heavy toss for me. And with the ones on top, it's a very horn heavy toss normally, or at least it's the sixes and ones are dominant when I throw it that way. So today what I saw is what you'd expect, right? The throw is trying to figure itself out, tons of sevens. So my across bets aren't working. At the same time, when it is working in those tiny moments that it's working for me, it's a repeater. And I buckshotted the point 4 times today, right? Once on the 6, once on the 8, once on the 4. So 3 times we buckshotted that point. And within like 1 or 2 rolls, we hit the point, right? Never got the thing to work up the top. So what do I do with this thing? The storm, to me, the holes in the storm are perfectly positioned for me to destroy it, right? I'm going to buckshot those points because when I get into the groove, I get into the groove. And when I'm off, it's a quick 7. I don't know what to do here. I'm at kind of a crossroads with this thing because a 6, 7, 8 play normally is a pretty safe one. Not so much with me right now. I'm in this really weird place, but I can't pick the strategy based on how I'm throwing. I got to pick the strategy because the strategy either is strong or it's not, right? The storm should be strong. We'll play it out for a month, but I'm not feeling it right now. I'm not feeling like we're in a good place with it. So we'll have to see. The adjustments we can make to here are obvious. I think one thing we can do is either take the odds off completely or lower them way down. You know, my preference is always to make every throw make me money, right? So if I 7 out quick, I want to make money on that 7. The way that if you do it without odds or lower flats or whatever, you run the risk of the 7 costing you the leftover money up top. So I'm torn on it. We'll try it next week without the odds, and maybe an extra quarter on the don't. Let's just see what happens. I'm going to not do the any craps bet for sure. So for sure that's not going to happen. But everything else, we'll just kind of work through it and see what happens. Like I said, I'm in a weird place right now with it, where I like the idea of the strategy, but boy, I can't make it work for whatever reason. But the rhythm of pulling down from the outside. I love that rhythm. It's a great way to play for a long run, but I think we're just getting too much destruction on those don't passes. So there we go. You're saying throw random. That's funny. I'm not going to throw random. I'm going to work my toss. I'm going to work on the throw. And if me working on the throw makes me sub random, then fine. It is what it is. I'm just not going to, I got to work the throw, and the strategy is going to be strong or not. I think that the point of the paycheck is to prove the strength of the strategies. And if it can't last 20 days, then it ain't worth playing. And that's kind of, if I end up treading water for 20 days and we stay at no profit for 20 days, which is what I think is going to happen, then you all know. That's the answer to the question. Do you play the storm of the casino? No, that's the answer. If you want to tread water every single time, then no. I would like to play a way that's going to win us money every time, or damn close to it, like we did last month, right? The Red Cross worked great last month, right? Same idea, but it just worked better. So here we go. John doesn't know that truly test. Yeah, that is what I do. I destroy strategies. All right, here we go. That was my look at the storm. And again, I think we'll talk about it with the Iron Cross today, but this idea of playing for a home run or a grind is, I think, a real thing. So far with the storm, I've never hit a home run. I grind, get beat on the don't. Grind, get beat on the don't. That's what's happened to us. We have not hit the home run yet, but we've ground away enough times. We've made a paycheck almost every day this week, except for the first day where we played too long. Today, I had a $204 paycheck and just played too long. But we've ground out a paycheck with the damn thing. It's just a very unsatisfying way to win, So Gargo has not yet recommended numbers to stack because right now the principal goal right now is to get the landing zone right. It's to get the height of the flight, the number of spins around. So when I have been throwing it, I throw it a little higher usually. I land it a little shallower, and I spin them really fast, right? And you know why? Because I believe in the gyroscopic effect of that high rate of spin. He wants me to get lower on the toss, deeper into the back wall, and less number of rotations. So I'm working only that. So effectively, the set doesn't matter because I'm working on mechanics only. So the set, I'm setting the ones on top only because it's easy to see what happened to the dice when you know where you start. I'm not starting with a set that I think is going to make me any money. I'm starting with a set that's designed for tracking what happened, right? Maybe that's part of why we're having the bad results we're having, but I'm not monkeying with sets yet. I'm really just, I'm treating this like I'm teaching a kid how to play baseball. Don't care where the ball goes. Don't care anything other than solid contact, right? And we'll figure the rest of that out as we go. We're working on mechanics, and that's it. All right. So what does Ian say? Good morning. Hawks got smacked. Dude, the Hawks are not a good football team. Can we talk football for a minute? I'm a little bit worried about both my teams. As you know, I'm a two-team guy, right? I'm from Philly. I live in Seattle. So I've been rooting for both teams my whole life. And the Hawks or the Eagles since I've been a kid, obviously. The Hawks since I've been an adult. And both teams worry me this year because the Hawks won some games early against teams that were very beatable, especially at times when they were the most beatable. The Lions being a signature win early on. But they're just not good. I love Pete Carroll, but they're not well coached otherwise. Their offensive coordinator is garbage. Their defensive coordinator is garbage. They cannot stop. They got good talent. You look at that team. I wrote this in a text yesterday, right? You compare the 49ers, right? McCaffrey, Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, right? 4 studs. What do the Hawks have in those same positions, right? Kenneth Walker, every bit as good as McCaffrey. That guy's every bit as good of a runner, and you've seen he's got home run potential. DK Metcalf and Deebo Samuel, 1-for-1 to me. Ayuk and Tyler Lockett, same player. Kittle, all right, we don't have a great tight end. The quarterbacks, Brock Purdy, okay, could any of you throw the ball 5 yards at a time and hit a guy that's 50 yards wide open? Of course you could, right? Geno Smith can't, right? There's a difference there, right? I think the quarterbacks are about the same, but But our plan is none on offense. Our plan on defense, we got studs on defense too, and they're all in the wrong spots. Not a good football team. The Eagles should be a better football team. They're a substandard 8-2 to me. They're 8-1. They're okay, but they're not dominant like they were last year. They have all the pieces, but they're hurt in key areas. They got good coaching. They're just wiped clean in the secondary. They're having a tough time on defense right now, but man, they're two frustrating teams because I think the Birds could do it, but they're too hurt right now, and they're a paper tiger at this point. I worry about them longevity wise, but anyway, football not for today. Let's move on and hit our three-phase play. So this week, as you know, talking about getting out. Next week, we're going to talk about getting up. We're going to be getting out this week. How do we get out of the hand? The storm is a way to get out of the hand, supposedly, right? Big don't, all the way across, play it a certain way, and you're out in 2 rolls, right? That's what we're trying for. Get ourselves set up to play the long run, which if you follow three-phase play theory, which is, again, my go-to way, it's the reason why I'm a long-term winner, because I focus so hard on the first 6 rolls, right? The first 6 rolls of every shooter. If a shooter goes more than 6 rolls, I'm always going to lock profit up. A lot of people won't. They'll just go hitting too hard and not bring anything out of the hand. I'm trying to get everybody to realize you can't win at this game that way. You may hit some home runs that way, but you will not win long-term that way. You got to get out of that hand quick. And that's why I focus so hard on all these different ways to do it, right? All the different ways to get out of the hand. The squeeze play is a way, but as you know, we miss out on the outside numbers. The shrink downs, right? The wedge. Effectively, the storm is the wedge, by the way. It's a cross bet where you come down, come down, come down in 3 rolls. A drawdown, like the Dallas drawdown, where you bring the whole bet cycle down in 3 phases. Those are great ways because you've got all the numbers covered for the most part. It's a short window of time and you're out, right? You got to be a decent shooter, right, to get through it. But if you're going to look at 2 rolls and out, the drawdown ways are always 2 rolls, maybe 3 rolls, and you're out of the hand with locked profit. It's a phase 1, phase 2 combined. That's a great way to play if your bankroll supports playing that way. We looked at the Hawaiian crap shooter splitting the sisters the other day, which is a fun way to play, but you're missing out on other numbers, right? Again, it's like a squeeze play, but you're missing out. It's a squeeze play that's got a built-in regression to it. That's the difference there. But you're still missing out on the outsides unless you pre-place them or burn your profits on them. So you got to be careful there, right? Yesterday, we looked at my 2 favorite ways to play, the Philly special and tier pressure. These are ways that are not great, as you saw, to get out of the hand. These are ways to play once you're out of the hand. The Philly special and tier pressure are my favorite ways to beat a good shooter, to hammer a good roll. To me, they're the best way to do it. Those 2 or a press collect type of thing are the best ways to hit a hot roll. They can be used to get out of the hand. If you're going to get, if you're shooting the dice or a controlled shooter's got the dice, I would probably go this way and give that person an extra 1 or 2 rolls because these get you out with a full level of profit before the hand starts, right? So if a good shooter's there and you're making money on a good shooter, or you trust a good shooter, this is the best way to do it. Today, we're going to look at the iron cross. And I know some people out there love them some iron cross. And I'm going to actually change my chat here. By the way, I'm going to put the PC filter. If you want to talk to me, put a PC in front of the message. I'm going to go to the table and play some iron cross with you. But the iron cross to me has 2 ways to be played, passively and aggressively. And there's 2 goals for playing the iron cross either way. I'm going to show you all the ways that we can play this thing out. Okay, let's go to the table here and let's look at some of the ways that the iron cross can work. And I'll give you some options here and some of the pros and cons of all the ways. I'm going to switch into this view here that should be pretty clear. Let's rock it up here. All right, here we go. The traditional iron cross. And the only way I would ever say you ought to play the iron cross is this 3-to-1 ratio, okay? Which means $10 table, you're $30 on the 6 and 8, $25 on the 5, and $10 in the field. If you have table minimum here, you need 3 times table minimum up here at minimum to get through. In fact, it's probably better like this. A true 3-to-1 is 36, 36, and 30. literally 3 times the bet, okay? And the reason for that, it's a lot of exposure, okay? I'm not gonna lie to you, it's 30, 60, 90, plus the extra 12 bucks, it's 102 up top. Plus this is 112. So you're $100 a shooter to play it at the lowest possible correct way to play, okay? At a $5 table that looks like a nickel in the field, right? And again, 3 times that is 15 bucks here, and it's gonna be 18 bucks on the 6 and 8. Okay, you've got to get 3 to 1. And the reason for that is because your hits have to be meaningful in an iron cross. You cannot play the iron cross with meaningless hits. So if you're playing this thing at $10 there and at $18 in here, which I see people do all the time, right? I see people play this thing 1 to 1, $10 there and $12 here, like this. At 1 to 1, okay, if the field wins, that's lovely, you win 10 bucks. But if the 6 or 8 wins, you lose your field, you win 14, you put your $10 back in the field and you're netting $4 on a shot. That's no reason to play this game for $4 a turn. That's why 3 to 1 to me sits way better. Playing it at $36 on the 6 or 8 or the 5 or 9, that's $42 on the win. So look at this, it's 42. 42 on the win of a 5, 6, or 8 minus your 10 means you're bringing back at least a quarter on the shot. You're bringing back, in this case, 32 bucks, okay? That, to me, is a smart move, especially if you can find a $5 table. If you can find a $5 table and you go 10 and 3 to 1 up top, guess what that is, folks? That's 32 across paid for, right? That's a 1 hit, 32 across, and you're out of here if the 5, 6, or 8 rolls. That's playing the iron cross with purpose to get out of a hand. If you double all this up, okay, we double everything up, that 32 becomes 70 bucks. Okay, I'll show you how that looks, right? Again, it takes a little bit of thinking to get through it, but if you doubled it to $20 in the field, okay, and again, at 20 bucks, you may as well go a quarter. It's just easier to do it. Go a quarter in the field. And again, if you go 3 to 1, that means 75 bucks on the 5. Again, 3 to 1 ratio is the key. So 3 times 25 here, that pays 90. You go 3 to 1 on the 6 and 8. And again, that's $90, 6 and 8. So what are you in? What are you in for up here? That's 150, 225 plus 30. It's 255 up top. Plus that, you're basically 280, right? A lot of money. But look at your 1 hitting down here, okay? If one of the box numbers happens to come, you lose your 25 bucks, but you win 105, okay? When you put the $25, quote unquote, back into play, you're out of the hand, you take all your money back, you've profited 80 bucks, which can go 76 inside, you can go 64 across, you can go 76 inside, and an extra little butt on the outside. This is a paid for across bet. It's a paid for across bet. You can go, again, 64 across for free, lock a little bit of profit up too, 1 hit and out. The iron cross is great to get 1 hit and out. Now, if you don't get the up top number in this situation, you get a field number, okay? That quarter does you no good other than maybe stack it up or maybe grab another number and try it again. This is where the iron cross has the fail point, right? The field, to me, although it's nice to get paid on it, this is no better than a same bet. You can't get out of the hand in one roll if you're rolling field numbers. That's part of the problem with the iron cross at that level. Even at this huge level up here, you're stuck. So what's the best way to play the field? The best way to play the field, to me, one of 2 ways. Either you aggressively go for it. You say, you know what? The field wins. We're going to try and get one of those magical runs in the field. Okay. If I happen to get a 5, 6, or 8 first, I'm out of the hand. If I happen to catch a field number first, I'm going to try and stack and hammer the field, because that would be, if you get 2 fields in a row, that pays 50 bucks. There's your 75 to go play with. Follow me? Up here, it's 80 bucks to play with. So you're going to try and get a field parlay, or you're going to try and get a box number at this high level to play for free. That's the way to play the iron cross as a get out strategy, not as a long-term play strategy. As a long-term play strategy, and we can talk about this next week, with the how do I lock profit up after I'm out of a hand, you can go iron cross, but you got to play the iron cross in a different way. When I'm trying to get out of a hand and be able to play, this is the way you got to do it. You got to be 3-1. One of these and you're out. A repeater here and you're out. Okay, let's play it up. Let's go roll the dice and we'll play it. I'll show you what I mean by all this. I'm gonna change the screen so you can see the dice. I don't want to be accused of cheating the dice, but here we go. Again, just random huck in here, and that's going to be a 9 for the point. Here we are, point of 9. Now we're out. Watch how we get out of this hand. If we can get out of the hand, right? We're gonna, again, it's going to be a bleed down here if we don't. There is a 6. So here, one shot and out. Okay, you lose your field. You win 105. You put the field back, but really all this comes back to your rack. This all comes down. I'll put it in the back here. This all comes down. And now you got the 80 bucks to play with. Here we go, probably 64 across, heavy on the 6 and 8. I'll probably go 64 plus 12. We'll probably go like 76, something like that. 76 across, and just get the 6 and 8 a little heavier. That's probably how I do this, okay? But you're in and out in one roll, okay? We can play it out if you want to, and I'll show you what it looks like. It's gonna be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 76. We had 80, $4 into the rack. We'll leave our rack, the front open. So you lock up $4. Again, I'll leave these are out here just to give me a, I'll put them over here, just so they're out of the way. And there we are, we're out of the hand, right? Iron cross is a way to cover your ass just to get yourself out of the hand. There's a 9, that's the point, $15. We don't need to play this out. 15 for 1. Don't got to play this out, you get the point. Let's reset the board and do it again. I'm going to do it a number of times here. And we're going to we got to kind of fudge it a little bit because we're not playing a full round of bets here, but let's go 75, 75, 90, and 90. There's our set. The puck is off. We hit the point. Let's go. 8. 8's the point. We'll play it this way for a few rolls, and then I'm going to show you the other way to play this thing. Here's a 10. Okay, here's the case where you get a field number. Okay, so the point is 8. We didn't get a box. We're not out of the hand. We got paid $25. We're going to have to stack it up. I'm going to put the $25 at risk, the initial 25 at risk, as the way to maybe run out of the hand. I need a field number here, which we get, a 213. So that pays 50, right? My net win is $75, okay? This quarter, along with what I started with, was my starting foray. Now I can go for $1 out of my rack, that's 76 across. 64 across, heavy 6 and 8, okay? That's a play you can make in the field. Again, iron cross as a way to get out of the hand has got to be played 3-1. One of these is enough to get your first bet. And again, you got to work backwards. Like I say, work backwards from, I want to be at 32 across. I want to be at 64 across. I want to be at 96 across. What does it take in an iron cross to get you there in a hit or two? Okay. If you want to play this to get across and that money is too rich for your blood, right? Go back to the initial one. Go back to 42, 6 and 8. We can do that one too. I'll play this exact hand as though we had done that. There's 40, 42, and 30, and 10. Let's play that same 2 rolls at this level. What would have happened? Okay, we would have gotten the 9, which paid 10, right? That would have stacked up to 20. 20 would have paid 20, and what are we out at? There's $30. So in that case, the lower level, 2 hits in the field, nets you $30, you're out for 32 across, okay, if that worked out. On the first one, if you want to get the 64 across, you're not there yet, right? You're going to have to either stack the whole thing and make it a 3-shot parlay in the field to make that work. if you want to go to 64 across, because this is going to end up paying you $60 in here. If you're looking at 64 across from this level, you need 2 hits up here to do it. Okay, let's roll. Let's keep going. We had the 9, we had the 3. Is the field parlay going to work for us today, right? We get a midnight in this case, so it would have worked. That's going to pay, what is that, $40? That's going to pay 120. Not bad, not bad at all, right? Everything comes down. There's your initial money. In that case, you end up getting lucky with 150, right? I'm probably going home on that shot, right? You pull that off, bye-bye, right? You don't even need to play anymore. You can take your $500 buy-in and go home with $150 profit. That's a beautiful thing. On the other up here, let's put that all back. We'll restart it again. Let's get a new point. And we'll come out again, clean, and see another option. Here we go. Let's try it at the small level. Again, this is still, oh, sorry, that should be 30, not that. All right, again, so we're here at 30, 60, 90, 102, 112. Still a big money, right? That's a big money play. Need $1,000 to do this, by the way. Even at that smallest level, I'd probably play it at. We catch a 3. Let's try and parlay that. And again, I want to get the 64 across, working backwards here, 64 across if I can do it. So what happened here? We lost the whole field. The parlay doesn't work. We do win $42 up there on the 8. Okay. We can put the $10 back in the field. And again, looking for 64 across, we've got 32. So we're halfway home. We need to get another hit up here or magic down there. What do we have here? An 11. Hits and stacks. A 9. So it worked. It worked. We get paid $20 in the field. We'll take 10 away. That's our starting bankroll. 30, 40, 50, $62. So we're in 64 across for $2. So it happened to work, but look how long it took, right? It took a bunch of field rolls plus an 8 to get it there. That was probably like a 5-roll sequence to get to it. The Iron Cross is a tough one to play as a get out of jail or get out of the gate card, okay? Let's do it what the Hawaiians do, which is the ease, the EZ, the quarter pounder with ease. I believe they do it here, right? It's a $60 6 and 8. Like so. It's going to be a $35 field. And it's going to be hopping the 5s for $5 each. This is a little bit less exposure. So you're at 60. And 60 is 120, 130, 140, plus 25, 165 out the door. Again, you need $1,500 or more to play it this way. But this way does reduce your exposure out here. It limits a little bit what happens. Let's turn the puck off. Let's come out. We'll catch a new number. And let's play this one. And again, you can't play this at much smaller of a level. This is about where you got to play this one. All right. What do we get? We get a 6 easy. 6 easy. So we're going to lose 35. We're going to lose $45. We lose the field and the 5s, but we get paid $70 up top, right? That looks like putting the 5s back, putting the field back, right? And keeping $25 for ourselves. That's a lot of risk, 165 for a quarter. You got to do this twice, probably 3 times to make it work. All the bets, though, will pay the same. There's a 10. We'll lose our 5s. We're going to win $35 in the field. Okay, we'll put our 5s back and rack our quarter. That's 2. 2 hits, $50. But again, I want to play 64 across at minimum. There's a field hit again. So again, we're going to lose our 5s. Get paid 35 in the field. Take our $10 back. Our 35 back. That's our initial working money. And now we can go 76 across. It takes 3 hits at that level to get across with the quarter pounder. It only wins you a quarter the way the bets are set up. And the reason for that is this. You've got, it's kind of disobeying my John's first law of the Iron Cross, which is look at the ratio. What is your ratio here? you're at 60 and 35, you're at barely, actually a little less than 2 to 1 on the ratio. So the bleed down here is so big in this strategy that you're only getting a quarter out of it. Whereas the 3 to 1 ratio, one of these hits gets you to your level. And or one of your hits at least gets you a meaningful win. So again, he's pulling a quarter off of this bet here, right? When I was doing the same thing, when I was doing, let's look at it. 30 on the 5. We'll do it again. 42 or 36 rather than 6 and 8. And 10 in the field, okay? The difference here is this. The exposure, 112 versus 165. So I've got $50 less of exposure. On these wins up here, I'm making more than 30. I'm making $32 net on the box wins. I do need to get a field parlay to make money in the field. The field becomes less meaningful for me than in the quarter pounder with these. However, I only need 1 or 2 shots to get out of here. He needs 3 full hits to make it work, right? I can be out of here in 1 sometimes to get to my goal versus 3. So there's a difference there in how you approach the game with the Iron Cross. What is your goal and how many hits does it take you to get there? But the quarter pounder is a good way to play it, right? It's not a terrible way to play it. It's just that to get to a meaningful goal, you need at least 2 or 3 hits to get there. Everything pays the same here. Here, everything does not pay the same when I'm doing my version of it. These pay way more. I'm looking to get out of here quick. I'll take the chance on the parlay down there to make it happen if I need to. All right. The one time we got the great parlay and it worked out good. The Iron Cross is a good play, I think, against what we would call a purely random player. Okay. And what does that mean? That means this. And I think I was talking to, well, this is again, kind of a thing I was talking with Darksider about over email. The reason why the Iron Cross can be called a lazy way to play, it covers all the numbers. The risk is high, the reward is low. All those things can be said about it. But on a purely random thrower, and again, I'm just shaking and baking here. I have no idea what's going to come. Nothing I'm doing here has any bearing on what's going to come on the dice. I'm just tossing, right? When you don't know what's coming, you should bet more things, right? Get out, get paid on whatever happens here. Doesn't matter what this is, you're getting paid on it with the intent of getting the hell out of it, right? Short-term, big exposure to me is better against a random shooter than just having 1 or 2 numbers out here when they may never hit it. They're going to be all like, picture like a brand new person at a gun range who's never shot a gun before. They're never going to hit that target. They're going to be hitting trees and every damn thing else, right? Everything but their target. I would rather have a bigger target out there. I'd rather give them a sheet to shoot at instead of a bullseye to shoot at and have a chance of them hitting something. Maybe not the center of the target, but they'll hit something. Versus just, that's the visual analogy I give you there. The Iron Cross is great for that because everything out here pays something. If you play it smart, 2 rolls in, you can be out in the field. 1 roll in, you can be out up here and just use it for what it is. It's a giant net to catch whatever they're throwing, and then you're the hell out. The Iron Cross can be a power play that way early on as a way to get out of your hand. If you're going to sit here and play the Iron Cross for 5, 6, 7 rolls, you better have a good way of playing it, like the Red Cross. The Red Cross is a way to play the Iron Cross long term. This is a way to play the Iron Cross short term and get out. You got to be 3 to 1. You got to be 3 to 1. You got to play the field aggressively. That's my opinion on it. I think the Iron Cross can be played successfully, but you got to know what you're doing with it, right? You got to take the Iron Cross for what it is, which is, which is a way to achieve an end, right? Use it short term to get out or play it aggressively long term, but sitting there and just kind of grinding through it is going to be a recipe for disaster for sure. So there you go. I think, let's see, we've got some questions. Here we go to the question screen. We've got, Arcady says, despite the grief the Iron Cross gets you, you can't deny, yeah, there's an appeal of getting paid all the non-sevens. That's why it's like anything but 7, is what the strategy was called traditionally. there's an appeal to that, but you got to play it right. If you play it, and I've seen people go 10 in the field and 12, 12, and 10 on the 6, 8, and 9, or 6, 8, and 5 rather, they're making nothing on the rolls. You got to stretch those things out. You got to stretch them wide so you get some play on it. If you play it properly, it can be good. There's an appeal to it for sure, but that sucks new players in and they get crushed on it. So yeah, I did do the quarter pounder version for sure. Arcades, fun exercise. Iron Cross appeals getting paid all the rolls. How many different betting patterns can we put together? Boy, you mean in the Iron Cross itself or just in general on the table? You can do it on the table with lots of ways, right? You can go all the way across, for example, with a horn bet, which is essentially the same thing and maybe a little better than the raw Iron Cross, right? You go 64 across with a $4 horn. Okay, let me show you that because it's actually not a bad way to do it. Again, it's kind of a bleed on that horn, but if you go 64 across, let's do it. This is a fun exercise because I think this might be a little bit more powerful way. 64 across plus 4 on the horn. I got Bachira's chip. I got 4 on the horn. I know the whites are kind of hard to see. What do you get here, right? Well, anything on the inside, right? 5, 6, or 8, they all pay 14 bucks. Okay. So on this case, you're going to rack 10. You're going to take your 4 and replace the horn. So it's a $10 net on the inside. The 4 and 10 pay 18. So it's a $14 net on the 4 and 10. They're going to pay 18 bucks. So you have to drop in $1 from your rack to replace your horn and basically rack 15 bucks. So that's a good way to get out there. If it's a horn number that rolls, fantastic, right? You're getting paid, 15 bucks or 12 bucks net on a 2 or 3 or an 11, and $27 net on a 2 or a 12. That's a great little way to play anything but 7 better than the Iron Cross. The Iron Cross is nice when you get the 3 to 1 on the 12, but frankly, this little bleed up here ain't bad. And again, if you look at the ratio, think about the horn paying the cap on the 6 or 8. If you think of it in that simple of a way, then this becomes at a higher level. This. Look at this play here. You can go 320 across and be a big baller, right? 320 across with a $20 horn. Again, you're going to get paid on the horn. Or think about the 6, 8, 5, 9, the cap paying the horn. So these are going to pay, like say the 9 rolls, it's going to pay 70 bucks, 50, 70 bucks. That, your new horn bet, $50 to the rack. Right, the 4 and 10, of course, are paying you at this level. They're paying you 100 bucks, so that's a different situation. 100 bucks paid on the 10 minus your vig replaces the horn, and that's a $75 profit. Right, that's cool too. So that's a good way to be anything but 7. Better, I think, than the Iron Cross, the raw Iron Cross. The raw Iron Cross is easy to play, but going across with a horn is actually less exposure overall. Right. And again, the $8, you can do the $8 as well in the horn. You can double, like for example, 88 inside, those pay $28, $8 back to the horn, 20 bucks back to your rack. So you can make that funnel work anything but 7 in so many different ways. The Iron Cross is nice. It's easy. It's simple. We all know how to do it. But frankly, the across and the horn is not as terrible as you think it is. All right. You can change your thinking on that. I think are you talking about the across versus 2 numbers? Is that what you're getting? I'm not sure. Maybe I missed something. Let's see. The one way is to bet no more than 2 numbers rolling with. Yeah, I know. You love your conditions. I know it. I used to play that. Let me get back over here. I used to play a lot of just 6 and 8. Don't pass 6 and 8. Don't pass 6 and 8. And it takes a lot, right? To watch your money go. Like the 6 and 8, 4 rolls in a row won't get hit. They'll hit everything else but your 6 and 8, and you watch those bets die. And like I said, my mental state is I'm tired of watching my money just go bye-bye, right? I would rather lose a lot to get the one hit. And like I said, when I run my simulations, I don't run it for long term. I'm running it one hit. If I take a $30 6 and 8, which is 60 bucks, and I make a bankroll of $600. And the goal is one hit and down. How fast does that bankroll go away? Or how many times do I win? And I go 160 across. So $1,600 bankroll, one hit and down. Both of those players make money and lose money at the same rate, right? You're going to win way more often number of times, 160 across. You're going to lose less often, 160 across. You're going to lose more, less often, versus losing less, more often, right? Losing less, more often is the same as losing more, less often. It's a matter of how do you want to do it? How do you want to experience the table? Do you want to experience the table in a long period of time with the 6 and 8, or a very short period of time with the across bets? I'll run the simulations and I'll show you what I mean by that. They're the same. There's so little difference in it that it's almost not worth talking about. It's a matter of how do you want to do it, right? If you want to go out there and try and outthink the table and pick your spots and do your thing that you want to do, cool, right? That's your thing. I just don't like trying to play cat and mouse with the dice. I like to just put it out there, let what's going to happen, and then run for the hills. That's more my style, I guess, right? Stylistically, mathematically, they're the same. Stylistically, it's different. I don't think so. Well, you're doing more things, right? You're doing more than just betting and running. You're doing a lot of other stuff in there. I'm not. I'm just saying, put the bets out there, and let's compare. How often do things win or lose? That's what I'm doing. I want to get a mathematical stability here so I know what the expectations are. Then you can say, given that I know what's going to happen with just my 6 and 8 or with my across bets, then you say, what do you tailor? How do you tailor those bets? How are you cherry picking when they're out there? How are you cherry picking having a don't with or without that? How are you cherry picking when you're going in and out? That's what you're doing more of. I don't do a lot of that. You do much more of that than I do. But you got to be informed first by the base math. If I just did it without any other conditions in there, if I just did it, what am I looking at? So that's it. I know guys like Ed and the other controlled shooters will say 6 and 8 only because they're throwing them. They're setting for it. They're throwing it. I get it. For me, I'm still random. I'm seeing random people out there. I don't know what's going to happen. Like I said, I'm looking at the first time somebody has an AK in their or an AR in their hands and are just doing this, trying to hit the target, right? That's how I look at craps. Everybody at the table is just spraying and praying, trying to hit something. I'm putting bets everywhere. Like you hit one of my chips, I'm out. Like that's good enough for me. That's kind of how I view the world now. So, all right, let's get out of here. It's 8:48. Time to go. That's my final thought. I just, like I said, the older I get, the more aggressive I get, maybe. I don't know. The less patience I have. I don't want to be out there with 1 or 2 bets watching them die. I'd rather just take my shot and go home. Unless I'm playing a don't, or unless I'm playing a straight up line strategy, I'd rather just cover it for a very, very, very short period of time and run away, or cover it for a short period of time so I can play longer. Like that's where it comes to me. I don't know. The storm is sort of showing how that's not possible because my rolls are too cherry picked on the storm. But anyway, there we go, guys. I got to go. What is Ken saying here? Oh, Ken's here. Hey, Ken, how you doing? Let's see. It's all crap. Stay home. That's funny. Right? That's so true. What do you say, Ken? The best strategy is not to play, I guess, right? You're out there to put your money at risk. You're out there to have some fun and make some cash. To me, play it as safe as you can. And you can look at safety as less money on the table or look at safety as less time on the table. I am a less time person versus a less money person. I know a lot of you are more or less money people. So you gotta be considerate of those two things. And that's it. Have a good weekend. I don't know if we're doing Friday night fights tonight. I think we are. 90% sure we are. I don't know. But I know we're doing a craps chat on Sunday. So no Friday Follies today. We'll go back to Friday Follies next week. Next week, Friday Follies, I will start the $1 Million Challenge again. We're going to restart that thing as a Friday Folly, and we'll do something nutty with it. So yeah, this week I wanted to finish my thoughts on getting out. Next week we'll do getting up and a Friday Follies $1 Million Challenge. So that's it, folks. I will see you maybe tonight for Friday Night Fights. If not, I'll see you Sunday for Craps Chat. And as they say, that's all she wrote. Y'all have a great Friday and a great weekend. God bless every one of you. I'll see you next time. Bye.